Let's just come out and say it. Sometimes video games are weird. The idea that a plumber can eat a mushroom to grow larger or eat flowers to shoot fire? Come on. This has been weird from the start. Pac-Man eats fruit and ghosts, but only after eating a large pellet? It seems normalized now, but it all used to be bizarre. We should celebrate when games embrace strangeness, especially now. Which is why whenever a title like Deadly Premonition gets a sequel, everyone should pay attention. Yes, Zach, everyone should pay attention. Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, is both a sequel and a prequel to the previous entry. It starts in Thompsonville, Massachusetts in 2019. Agents Aaliyah Davis and Simon Jones are investigating former Special Agent Francis Zach Morgan. Upon arriving, they can see he is a very peculiar individual, one who looks close to death's door. The agents question him about a case from his past, Carre Louisiana. Here, the bulk of the story is told in 2005 as a much younger and healthier Francis York Morgan is present. For those who haven't played the previous entry, this may confuse you. York is quick to explain Zach. Please don't ask about Zach. It's personal. Regardless, in perfect Twin Peaks fashion, Agent York will randomly make comments to Zach, just like Agent Cooper would do the same with Diane. Once back in the past, you take control of Agent York as he investigates a brutal and unexpected murder of a young girl. Twists and turns follow in this wacky and dark tale, but by the end of the game, almost all the questions are answered. I would recommend playing the previous title before jumping in, as there are some key concepts not explained in this game, but are deeply connected to the first title. Deadly Premonition 2 is hard to pin down to any single genre. It has aspects of survival horror as it touches on supernatural elements and supply conservation. You are not confined in a creepy mansion or a hospital though, as the whole town of Le Carre is open to explore. You can meet and talk to townspeople, accept quests, eat at restaurants, bowl, and skateboard, just to name a few. These aspects align closer to something akin to the Yakuza series. Unlike that series, random thugs won't accost you, but squirrels, dogs, and alligators will. The wildlife will charge you and can be dealt with by hand or gun. I prefer to get into a fist fight with squirrels, if only for the levity. Completing quests or doing other activities will grant you money, which is used for everything in town. You will need at least $158 in your bank account every day, as you are staying in a hotel, and hotels cost money. Jumping back to the survival aspect, York will get hungry and sleepy. This means you will need to make sure to feed him and let him rest. Oddly enough, if you wear the same clothes over and over, you will develop a certain aroma along with a posse of flies. York's hotel room has a shower, but you can't get there. Stores have gum, cologne, and other items to reduce your BO. The combat in the game is split between hand-to-hand combat and gunplay. Ammo was always plentiful, and I never felt the need to conserve it, which felt odd early on, but I was greatly appreciative of the large stock I accumulated near the end of the game. As I mentioned earlier, the Louisiana wildlife will be a large portion of your enemies, but during certain occasions, evil entities will cause havoc. These battles never felt too intense, especially with the profuse amount of ammo available. The game's boss fights did give a bit more challenge, even if I never died during my entire playthrough. Great care was given to the soundtrack of Deadly Premonition 2. Every track felt like it was intentional, and by that I mean it was made to catch your attention. Sometimes music in games can be background filler, but here it feels like it draws the player's attention to the screen. When traveling about the town on York's skateboard, a poppy tune, which sounds like it could have been in Earthbound, will accompany his trip. Fast traveling has a very early 2000 era hip-hop industrial track, and the evil deities are presented with a drum-laden track filled with voodoo and style. The voice acting is delightfully bad, and I mean this in the best way possible. I love B-movies, and every actor could have been pulled direct from one. Late in the game, Agent York even makes a comment that, while a certain character is saying sounds like it's from a C movie. I also believe that there is a difference between acting bad on purpose and acting just being bad. These characters are made to shine in their odd and charming ways. The standout character for me is Patty Woods, who also voices Lindley and Morgana in Xenoblade Chronicles X and Persona 5, respectively. While I was over the moon about the OST of Deadly Premonition 2, the art style does feel like it's missing something. For the most part, the characters look closer to PS2 or Wii era graphics. I do believe this was a stylistic choice to showcase the 2005 vibe, but despite this, the game still looks like a beautiful title from that era. Throughout my time with Deadly Premonition 2, I encountered numerous glitches, bugs, and areas of slowdown. Almost any time I rode the skateboard, I would notice the frame rate would start to stagger. This would happen sometimes when I would run as well. Pop-in would occur at an alarming rate as well, with trees, bridges, and buildings would just appear, or materialize in sections. Other times, characters would not react when hit. I ran into a pedestrian with a skateboard, and he flew down the street. The only problem is that he was still standing while he glided down the street. It was really funny to see it happen, but I knew that was not intended to happen. At least, I think that wasn't intended. During my 25-hour playtime of Deadly Premonition 2, I only encountered one game-breaking glitch. It happened in the first chapter, and thankfully after I just saved. I was leaving the hotel, and my game ended abruptly on me. I thought I had experienced a few others, but it just came down to intense load times. While Deadly Premonition did not always suffer from long load times, there were instances with close to a minute to load between sections. Oddly enough, I experienced the same issues while playing docked and handheld. The visuals were slightly better when docked, but even with that, I found playing in handheld mode was equally enjoyable. My final thoughts. I made sure to come to Deadly Premonition 2 with an open mind. The director, Swervy65, is always mentioned for the games as art discussion. This is without a shadow of doubt the weirdest game I've ever played, but it's also a game that kept me glued. From the overly gamey aspects to the downright absurd layers in the story, I couldn't help but keep moving forward. This isn't a perfect game, but it is perfectly flawed. For those gamers that want to be challenged by what a game is, look no further than Deadly Premonition 2. It is truly a blessing in disguise. On the same note, for those who love the oddball and quirky writing of David Lynch, known for Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet, you owe it to yourself to experience this title. Our verdict. Deadly Premonition 2 is a polarizing game that shouldn't be good, but with the peculiar story pieces and satisfying gameplay, it is truly unforgettable. We give this the rating of favorite child.